Hey guys, welcome to Sundays with Summer. I'm super excited about today's video. This one is something that really falls near and dear to my heart. A lot of times I get the question of, why do you do this for doTERRA? Why do you work with them? And this video is all about my why. It is the thing that fuels me the most. It is why I incorporate these in my life. It is the root of everything that I do in regards to doTERRA. So today we're actually talking about doTERRA's CoImpact Sourcing. So this is doTERRA's way of giving back to over 40 different countries across the world to help these farmers and harvesters and distillers from all of these different areas create these oils that we have come to love over the past 10 years since doTERRA started. So when doTERRA started, again about 10 years ago, they really knew that eventually they would have to tap into various areas to source these oils because there wasn't enough in the US. So they knew that they would have to go international with it. And now they source from over 40 different countries. 3/4 of these countries are actually still considered developing countries. So this is where doTERRA is really striving to make a difference. And that is exactly why that this is something that gets me just so excited because there's so many different ways. Obviously, when we get these oils and we use them, we obviously can see the benefits with them, but there goes so much further than that. The big goal that doTERRA has with CoImpact Sourcing is providing sustainable income for those that are growing, harvesting, and distilling the beautiful oils that we have come to know and love. So they came up with these 5 main initiatives when they were approaching the idea of CoImpact Sourcing and really partnering with countries all over the world to get these oils. So the first big initiative was job creation in rural areas where they can have a big impact. The second one was developing long-term contracts and agreements with these partners all over the world. The third initiative was helping the formation and organization of cooperatives, which share the collective benefits of the harvesters and growers themselves. The fourth initiative was fair and on-time payments, and even profit-sharing programs for the distillers that they can offer the growers and harvesters for these oils. The fifth initiative is one that is such an amazing thing. It is linking community-based and social impact projects founded. The fifth initiative is such an amazing thing. It's linking community-based and social impact projects funded by doTERRA's Healing Hands Foundation. So this is a foundation that really works on developing water systems, medical supplies, medical clinics, and even schools for these different areas that are lacking in those various departments. It's giving them a chance to provide such a better future and life for themselves. Oftentimes, when they were going into these developing countries, oftentimes the people in these countries, they really think that their lives will always remain the same. They will always face hardship. They will always be aboard the cycle of poverty. For us to be able to come in and actually care about them and actually care about their families and give them a sense of pride for the work that they do, to know what matters. It's such a magical thing to see the light go on where they see the impact that they are doing, and it's such a magical thing to see the light go on where they see that they are doing something magical and great for the rest of the world. The third initiative was helping the formation and organization of cooperatives, which share the collective benefits of the harvesters and growers themselves. The fourth initiative was fair and on-time payments, and even profit-sharing programs for the distillers that they can offer the growers and harvesters for these oils. The fifth initiative is such an amazing thing. It's linking community-based and social impact projects funded by doTERRA's Healing Hands Foundation. So this is a foundation that really works on developing water systems, medical supplies, medical clinics, and even schools for these different areas that are lacking in those various departments. The big idea here is if you can change the lives of people that have so little, you can make a big impact on their economies. Oftentimes, the people in these countries, they really think that their lives will always remain the same. They will always face hardship. They will always be aboard the cycle of poverty. For us to be able to come in and actually care about them and actually care about their families and give them a sense of pride for the work that they do, to know what matters. It's such a magical thing to see the light go on, where they see that they are doing something magical and great for the rest of the world. So now I want to delve into a couple different examples of where doTERRA sources these oils and kind of the stories behind them. Because a lot of times you get your oil and you're like, I know it comes from this country, but that's the extent of what I know. So I want to give you a little bit more background. So the first one I want to dive into is frankincense. So most of you might not even know this, but the only place where the frankincense tree actually is harvested is in Somaliland. The vegetation in Somaliland is very barren. A lot of times it's over 100 degrees. They have a very high temperature climate. There's actually a mountain range, and this is where a lot of people try and live close to because it's really the main source of any resources that they have. So a lot of times in this area, the harvesters didn't know the value of their product at all. So doTERRA was coming in and they were realizing that all of these different people, there was no set organization to it. It was all of these different people doing different things, and then over time, a lot of times this frankincense was actually sold to a middleman and taken to other surrounding countries like Yemen and all of these different places. But it ended up that the harvesters were the ones that ended up getting only pennies for the resin that they spent days trying to make. And obviously that wasn't fair, and doTERRA doesn't like that, and we don't like that. So doTERRA came in and took out that middleman, and that made a huge benefit for the harvesters and the farmers and the distillers, because they were actually getting paid for what they produced. And all of that hard work, they were actually compensated in a fair way and not given pennies for what they did, where the middleman was reselling it for a much higher price and the harvesters weren't seeing any of that benefit. So they kind of flipped that model, and that is what makes such an impact in these areas. A lot of these countries are very similar in the fact that they're operating prior to doTERRA coming in, they're operating with this middleman, and these harvesters aren't getting fair compensation for it. So this is such an amazing thing that doTERRA does. They really go in and help create a sustainable model. They create these different groups and cooperatives, and a lot of times they even build places where everyone can go to one place and actually process everything under one roof. So that way everyone knows what's happening. All these communities and partners and organizers are coming together to create this mutual working system. And a lot of times that leads over time, that leads to a huge impact on their economy. It makes them sustainable. It gives them a sustainable source of income that they get on time. I know a lot of times with these different countries, depending on what the oil is, they're not necessarily going, a lot of times their harvest season kind of goes in waves because that's how their climate is. But a lot of times we need that sustainable income because a lot of times they don't know all of the financial planning of it. They don't know that it should go towards their kids' education or how to kind of plan that out. And that is exactly what doTERRA is trying to do. They're trying to give them all of these different tools so that they can provide a better life for themselves and also their family for years to come. One of the coolest things that they did in Somaliland with frankincense was doTERRA actually brought on a team of developers and harvesters that really knew all about the frankincense tree. And basically with frankincense, as you're cutting into the tree to essentially get these oils, if you cut too deep, if you cut too close to the root, it actually will eventually kill the tree. So, but a lot of these people in Somaliland didn't necessarily know what was too close, what was not. So doTERRA brought in this whole team so that they can learn and so that these trees can last even longer, which means they can not only provide the sustainable income for these people currently, but they can do it for their future families and their children. So this can be an ongoing long-term agreement between these countries and doTERRA to really make a big impact on these people's lives. Another great example is cardamom. So cardamom is actually from Guatemala. So a lot of times people know Guatemala for exporting coffee, but cardamom is actually their largest export, which is crazy because a lot of times you don't know that because the region where cardamom comes from is actually very remote. It's very hard to get in and out of. But because of that, again, we face that issue of a middleman. So a lot of these harvesters and farmers in Guatemala were selling to a middleman, and then that middleman was selling it for a much higher price later on. And the original people that were doing all the hard work and heavy lifting of producing the cardamom weren't actually seeing those benefits. They actually built an entire center really focused on breaking that line of poverty, so this can be a long-term impact. I think a lot of times when people are going into these developing countries and they want to help, a lot of times they will go for a trip and they'll be there and they'll help this community for a week, and then they'll come back and they'll come back. And that kind of ends this cycle, but that's not doTERRA's goal at all. doTERRA wants these people to benefit over a very long period of time. So another great example is Vetiver. Vetiver is actually from Haiti. So one of the big things with Haiti, obviously I know a bunch of you have known that Haiti has been hit with natural disaster after natural disaster. They have faced so much hardship over the past couple years. And this has made the people there really live in rough conditions. A lot of people are living in the foothills of Haiti, which they have very, very low access to any sort of resources. And a lot of times they have that hot climate, which makes producing vetiver and farming it not even possible. So a lot of the times with vetiver, this is something that was a little bit different because vetiver actually takes about 16 to 18 months to mature into the place where we can actually distill the oils from it. So a lot of the people that were living in these harsh conditions in the foothills of Haiti were actually not letting the plants mature because they needed an immediate source of income. With all these natural disasters, they needed something. So they would actually process it prior to it reaching its max maturity. But because of that, the quality of the oils, the quality of what they were producing was lower, therefore the payment was also lower. So doTERRA actually comes in and really teaches them about that maturity level, about the value in that process. And a lot of, over time, these people were actually able to produce mature vetiver, and they've created a system in all these different cooperatives throughout these foothills of Haiti that work together to really create the best quality product that we know as our essential oil vetiver. There are so many different examples that are exactly like this, where doTERRA is coming in, they're taking out a middleman, they're going through and working with these people to really benefit them long term, to help them see the value in their product, to really make an impact on not only their lives, but their children's lives. I mean, just think about, like, we have wintergreen from Nepal, we have ylang ylang from Madagascar, we have jasmine oil from Egypt, we have copaiba from Brazil, we have pink pepper from Kenya that was just announced this year. And this is something that a lot of people don't see with doTERRA. A lot of times you'll meet somebody, they'll introduce you to oils, they'll be like, this will help you have natural health care. And that's all very true. But a lot of times we don't look deeper. And I really highly suggest that you look deeper, because the biggest reason why I do what I do, the reason these oils mean so much to me, is the fact that I can pick up my bottle of Vetiver, and really picture that family from Haiti that made that really works day in and day out for 16 to 18 months just so we can have that. That is such an amazing and powerful thing. And I think that really helps embody what doTERRA is all about. You just have to remember that doTERRA is, yes, all about the essential oils, but they're also all about going into developing countries and reinventing their supply chain to overcome poverty, to give these families hope, to give them a sustainable source of income, and to really make a long-lasting change. And I think when next time you open your bottle of frankincense, think of the people in Somalia. Watch the CoImpact Sourcing video about frankincense. All of these things, you will form an unbreakable bond with doTERRA and these oils, because you're not just connecting with the oil itself, you're connecting with the person beyond the oil, the person that made that, what you're holding in your hand, and what you're using on a daily basis even possible. And I think that is such an amazing thing. So I'm so glad I got to talk to you all today about CoImpact Sourcing. It is really the fire that keeps me going with doTERRA. It is the one thing that really provides such a great spirit within me. And I really hope that learning about this, and I hope this video has encouraged you to learn even more about this. doTERRA does an amazing job of kind of bridging the gap, because not all of us can jump on a plane and go to all these different countries, but them and just the way they provide all of these videos, all of these articles where you can literally put a face to the oil you have in your hand is such an amazing thing. So I really hope you'll look into CoImpact Sourcing further, look into the healing hands. I'm hoping to do another separate video just focusing on all of the different things regarding healing hands and the branches of that. So I really hope you have a fabulous Sunday, and we'll see you next time.